one of these videos are here. Starts with our vision, the vision of life by design. People need a vision that they could see themselves fitting in. Like if people don't have a vision of the future, why are they, without a vision, people perish. Without a vision, your guys' organization will perish, right? So it's very important that they understand the vision of life by design. Then you have mindset. What did we talk about earlier? Setting proper expectations from the beginning. So why do you think we have a mindset video in the beginning? To give them the right mindset that they need to succeed, so they can identify their reason why they're doing this. Because the reality is there's going to be struggles. There's going to be obstacles. People are going to lose trades. People are going to face rejection and all these different things. So it's very important that they have their mindset set up the right way from the beginning. So yeah, getting plugged in, all the apps, all the chats, they should be able to download all the apps, be plugged into the right chats. Obviously, any local and extra chats, you need to plug them into yourself. But this is them, but they should be able to do most of that themselves. Setting up a demo and live account. Obviously, we want to get them trading right away. Guys, you know what blows my mind? When people have been in for 30, 60, 90 days and they've never taken a freaking trade. Like, that is ridiculous. We wanted to get them trading, obviously demo first, right away, as soon as possible. So setting up their demo and live, the Academy 100 series, now they'll have the basic terminology that they need to in order to actually start trading, how to take a signal. Remember, guys, our goal is to help them take their first few trades. So this video will help them learn how to take a signal. And then personal development. If success is 90 to 99% mindset, so we want to get them on personal growth, 30 minutes a day, whatever it is, books, audios, whatever, so they can start developing the right mindset that they need to succeed. So, your brand new person, when they go through this, they're going to see the vision. They're going to have proper expectations and understand the why. They're going to get plugged in to the system. They're going to have their demo and live set up. They're going to, learn the basics that they need to take a trade, all the terminology. They're going to learn how to take a trade, because our goal is to get them results right away. And they're going to be on personal development. So they're on their way to developing their mindset for success. Do you guys have any questions of why these videos are here? Or does that all make sense? Let me get some feedback from you guys.
Solid.
I said this earlier, but I don't know if it was recording or not, or if you guys tuned out. So I'm going to say it again. Complexity is the enemy of execution. Simplicity is the key. So that's why there's only a handful of videos that are each 2 to 5 minutes long, because we want to just give them the basics that they need in order to set themselves up for success. So that's the trading side. Now, when it comes to the launch, phase 1's broken up into the trading startup, which is all trading, in the launch. The launch is even more simple, guys. 4 videos. Number 1 is goals. Can we agree that we can't give people direction until we figure out what it is that they want out of this thing? We need to figure out their goals in the first place, because I can't tell them what to do unless I have their goals. So once they give me their goal, now I can say, okay, in order to hit your goal, we have to do X, Y, and Z. So now we're not telling them what to do, but we're helping them achieve their goal. So the first thing that we want to do is, what's your goal for your first 30, 60, 90 days? P150, P600, P1000, and explain the difference. But first things first, set a goal. Number 2, help them make a list. Their list is like their gas tank. The bigger the list, the farther it's going to take them. And so they need to have a written down list. They have to actually write it down. It can't be a mental list. That will not work. They need to be organized. I heard this from Jason Brown. Here's what he said. He said an unorganized entrepreneur is no entrepreneur at all. They need to have their list, and they need to have it written down. The exposure. They're going to learn the different types of exposures: a Zoom call, a home event, a video, a one-on-one meeting. What you guys want to do is, ideally, you guys want to do things in group so you can condense time frames. What makes more sense? Should we invite 30 people so 15 show up, and we do 15 one-on-ones that take 15 hours for 3 people to get started to help someone hit P150? Or we have a home event where we invite 30 people and 15 show up and 3 get started in 1 hour? What do you think is more productive? Like, understand that what you guys do duplicates. I don't know if you guys ever noticed this, but if you have someone start at a home event, a big home event, 9 times out of 10, they actually have big home events themselves because that's how they got started. Vice versa, if someone signs up on a 3-way call, oftentimes they like to do a lot of one-on-ones and 3-way calls if we don't set them up right from the beginning. And it's a way longer process. What you guys do is going to duplicate. The launch is where the duplication process starts. Even before that, to be honest with you. But yeah, so when it comes to the exposure, ideally, especially in the beginning, you want to do things in group. Home events and webinars are the way to go, is what you want them to invite to in the beginning. And so the perfect invite. Notice how it says perfect invite with P600 and above. The reason why it says that is because if people invite on their own, 9 times out of 10, they're going to mess it up. How are they going to mess it up? Either A, they're going to write 3 names on, they're going to invite 3 people and be like, man, I talked to everybody that I know, get some negativity and then stop. Or they're going to invite their entire list. And chances are, since they've never done anything like this before, they're not going to say the right things. They're going to probably say too much, and they're going to burn through their list. And their first impression is going to be might be their last impression. So that's why it's important as leaders that we help them with their first invites, with their top 30 list, top 50 list, top 100 list. How many names should go on the list? Well, it depends on their goal. Obviously, the bigger the goals, the bigger the list. But ideally, the list is, as big as possible. Your average 18-year-old knows 1,000 people by facial recognition. If people are not making a list of 30 names, 50 names, 100 names, chances are they're prejudging. Rule number 1, never, ever, ever prejudge. The people that you think will do it won't, and the people you think won't do it will. So do you guys understand why these videos are here? Does that make sense? Hello?
Yeah, makes sense.
I was tripping. I thought it froze again. I was gonna say there's no. All right. So yeah, make sure. So what's the first part of the launch? The first part of the launch, right after they get started, they go through that fast start training on the LBD website for phase 1. That's the first part of the launch. The second part of the launch is you meeting up with them within 24 hours, basically ASAP, and help them with the things that we talked about in the first place. Do you guys have any questions on that? I have one more thing I want to share with you guys, but let me know if that makes sense. You good?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Last thing. I'm going to talk about the results. We talked about the purpose of the launch. We talked about how to launch. Now let's talk about the results of a launch. How do you know that you launched somebody properly? What are the results of a launch? So let's talk about trading first. You know you launch someone properly of trading if they're going through the academy. What I like to do is I like to give people deadlines for like the 100 and 200 series and all that. Well, what you guys need to understand is without a deadline, procrastination tends to occur. So, checking in with them, making sure that they're making progress and going through the academy. Also, the result of a launch as well is you launched them properly if they got some kind of trading profits within their first 24 to 72 hours to 1 week. How do you do that? You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You have Gold Cup, you have Steady, you have LBD trading ideas. Just show them how to enter their first few trades. I know that there's a video on how to do it, but to be honest with you, it needs to be updated a little bit, and actually we're in the process of doing that. And plus, it's not, even though it's not rocket science, maybe you guys have been doing this for a long time. I don't know if you guys remember in the beginning, it can be kind of complicated if you've never done anything like this before. So, you launch them right if they're making progress through the academy and they have some kind of trading profits. That's how you know that you launched them properly on the trading side of things. Don't get me wrong, guys. The goal is for most people is to learn how to trade on their own. But why reinvent the wheel, right? Like why? Well, what happens is once they get these trading profits, what's going to happen is now their belief's going to go through the roof. So now they're going to even go through more of the academy. They're going to jump on, go live even more. How many of you guys have had people? Let me tell you guys this. Go live is the most important service that we have, because not only can they take trades from professional traders, but they're going to understand the psychology of why they're doing what they're doing. But I don't know if you guys noticed this, but a lot of people don't jump on go live because they don't want to take the time, because they're not even sure if it works. But if they get results and they realize this thing works, now they're going to take even more time to go through the academy, to jump on go live, and to do all those different things. So we got to kind of think a little bit backwards. So that is the trading results of a launch. Let's talk about actually, there's one more thing. I know that they talk about this during this is kind of trading and marketing, and they talk about this during the videos, but you just want to make sure that they're doing some kind of personal development. You know what I mean? Like most people, they've never had a successful investor, entrepreneur, trader in their family. Their chances are they probably have not developed that mindset to be massively successful in this industry. Otherwise, they already would be. Personal development. You guys all know the importance of personal growth. I'm not going to reiterate. I don't have to reiterate that on here, but they need to get onto some personal growth. And they're plugged into the events. You launch them properly if they're plugging into the meetings, they're plugging into the events. How many times have you guys had somebody not plug into the events, maybe because we didn't make that important in the beginning, set proper expectations from the beginning, and they ended up, and you tried later on to get them to the events, but because we didn't make it important in the beginning, they just don't. In their head, they're thinking, this must not be that important, otherwise so-and-so would have told me that from the beginning, right? So they're getting plugged into the events. What is an event? An event is anything bigger than you. So an event might be the weekly meetings. It might be trade nights in person. It might be, the Zoom calls that we do on a daily basis for the trading trainings, the marketing trainings, all of the events. And so, you know that you launch them properly on the trading side of things. If they're going through the academy, they're getting some kind of trading profits. They're doing personal development, and now they're going to the events. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yes, it does.
Awesome. I'm about to clear this. Okay, now let's talk about marketing. How do you know that you successfully launched somebody on the marketing side of things? Well, you help them invite their top 30 list. So chances are, actually, I'll talk about that in a second. You help them invite their top 30 list. What did you help them invite to? You help them set up their home event and or webinar. Why? Because we like to do things in groups so we can condense timeframes, and because what you guys do is going to duplicate. So because of that, because of these two things, you help them invite their top 30 list to a home event and webinar, and then boom, You invited 30, 15 showed up, 3 got started. They're P150. 2 and free is great, but to be honest with you guys, I promote P150 way more than 2 and free. And the reason why is because think of it like this. When a customer has their 2 and free, they lose their volume because they're not paying their subscription anymore. So technically, if you have, let's say I get Lewis started. Lewis is my personal, and he enrolls 2 people and he has his 2 and free. That means I only have 2 customers on my team. But if they're a P150, if they're an IBO, they're paying for their subscription, plus they have a 3rd person on their team. So now you have 4 people on your team instead of 2. Your team just doubled because instead of the 2 and free, you promoted 1 step further, which is P150. And now they're getting residual income. And now they're getting a taste of what residual income, looks like. Also, the reason why I promote P150 way more than 2 and free is because if you have someone on your team, let's say Lewis has his 2 and free, and then one of those 2 people gets their 2 and free, well, he doesn't have 2 active subscribers anymore, so he actually loses his 2 and free. That's why I like P150 way better. If you're a P150 and you help 3 people go P150, you're still a P150. You're probably a P600, close to that at that point. But yeah. So for me personally, like the 2 and free is great. Don't get me wrong, but I really, 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 really like I just really focused on P150. Instead of me saying, hey, let me help you get your free subscription by referring blah blah blah. I'm like, hey, if we refer 3 people, that's going to help you offset your monthly subscription. They're going to get paid $150 plus the referral bonuses, so they're going to make more than their monthly subscription for their first month. And guess what? Those 3 people, if they start referring a few people, now they're almost, they're almost on their way to P6, whether they like it or not, right? So personally, I really focus on duplicating P150. So, the results of a launch on the marketing side, you help them invite their list to a home event or webinar. And if they can't attend the home event or webinar, guess what? You can just set up a bunch of one-on-ones through calls, personal Zoom calls. Doesn't really matter how they expose their people as long as they do. But ideally, it's through the home events and webinars, because you guys got to understand that what you do duplicates. And because you invited 30, 15 showed up, on average 3 got started. 30 is just, a number that I say because I know the law of the averages for P150. The reality is oftentimes I'll have people make a top 50, top 100 list. You guys have to use your best judgment, right? If someone is like freaking out, then chances are they're not going to make a top 100 list, and that's going to scare them even more. But if someone's like, yo, I'm super serious, I'm all in, I'm down to do whatever it takes, blah, 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 obviously you can stretch that person. For me personally, I think I had I'm not sure. I think it was about a 400 person list when I got started. How do you think we hit platinum 2000 within 30 days or whatever? Like, it's just numbers. The more people you invite, the more they show up, the more they're going to get started. So that's it, guys. So I'm going to delete this. Hopefully you guys got that. Take a screenshot, take a picture, or whatever. All right, cool. Clear my drawing. So now you guys understand, number one, you guys understand you guys understand the purpose of a launch. You guys understand, what's not a launch. You guys understand, what the launch is itself, and you guys understand the results. How do you know you launched someone the right way? The results of a launch. So I actually have a call here at 6:30, but I'm gonna send this guy the Zoom link in a couple minutes. I'm gonna just 2 to 5 minutes. Do you guys have any questions at all? Did everything make sense, or do you guys have questions? I know that was a
question. I don't have any questions.
Yeah, I should be good.
Okay. what was like one thing that you guys took away that you start implementing into your guys' launch that maybe you were not in the first place?
I think it was the sense of urgency for me personally. And I really like the bar, the raising the bar. I feel like that is something I definitely was not working on either as well.
Gotcha. Those are huge. How about everyone else?
I feel like using the videos a lot more than actually doing it yourself. Just saving time and energy.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, you're gonna save yourself a ton of time by using the phase 1. Everybody else? I don't even know. I can't see my screen because I'm screen sharing. I don't know who else is still on here.
Okay, CJ wrote
He said what?
his in the chat. He says,
What did he say? I can't see it.
not meeting until they have everything finished on phase 1.
Right. Guys, think of it like this. If they're not willing to go through phase 1, what makes us think that they're going to be willing to go on the academy? Like, you know what I'm saying? So, unless there's a very special circumstance, of course there's a whatchamacallit, there's an exception to most to all the rules. There are those occasional exceptions, but 99% of the time I'm just not going to meet up with them because it's just wasting time. What do you guys think is going to happen when they sign up their people? They're going to expect you to do the same thing for their team. It's not duplicated. So we do everything for a reason. Everything is systematic. Save yourself time, energy, and money. System. Everything has to be systematic. Everything has to be duplicated. So that's a freaking, yeah, CJ, that's fire. All right.